welcome to Season 3 of A Nefarious Nightmare. Prior to our first episode, Amanda and I wanted to address a few things so that you all aren't blindsided moving forward. We won't take up much of your time, so without further ado, I'll start. You will notice a shift in our format and theme as well as our artwork. The reason for this is because we've signed over to the Cloud 10 and iHeart network, and Jamie Rice of Murderish and Dirty Money Moves has pretty much taken us under her wing. We couldn't ask for a better mentor, and we are super thrilled of our future in this moving forward.
Yes, we are so excited about this transition. Every podcast under that umbrella is amazing, and we are in great company. One update I want to mention, our podcast just celebrated its first birthday on July 20th, actually. We started with Jason.Vukovich, and here we are now. Another bit of an update pertains to the Minding the Beehive series. Basically, we can't give much more info, but after we ended the series, we received an email from an investigator, and they said our podcast has been a valuable source of information. Let's just say, the investigation is in full swing. Justice will be served, and in honor of the bees, we have decided to move forward with a few tweaks to our brand, which you will all hopefully notice.
We wanted to pay our respects to the bees, and moving forward, we see bees as synonymous with victims and survivors. All of them, but particularly those deemed vulnerable, such as children or victims of sexual assault. Now, Amanda and I both have considered this podcast a labor of love, and we take extra emphasis on victims of rape, because more often than not, those crimes against them get swept under the rug or their wrists just get slapped. We always hear about cases, but if I were to be frank, they just don't get the justice that they so desperately need. I personally also want to be, way more mindful of mental illness because we're in a crisis right now and it just needs to be addressed. No matter how you see it, no matter how you look at it, it needs to be addressed. It needs to be taken more seriously. A lot of the time, mental illness tends to be kind of the vehicle that starts to drive people to do what they do. Although there's also, there's the nature versus nurture argument, but either way, we got to learn to take care of ourselves. There are many people out there who claim to be advocates for those dealing with sexual assault, mental health, and even those whom have lost a loved one to murder, and the case just goes cold with little to no attention on it. And we want to be a big part in raising awareness and putting a stop to this. We want to be a thorn in the side of those who will stop at nothing to silence victims and their families. We want to end the glorification of murderers and sensationalism that occurs because we are sick and fucking tired of seeing this happen over and over again to these survivors.
So, moving forward, you will see a lot of growth on our part. We dedicate our podcast to the bees. The bees are victims of sexual assault. The bees are victims of murder or rape. The bees are the family members of such, and the bees are those who have empathy and a heart towards those who have lost a loved one to senseless crimes. As bees, we are a hive, and when you mess with the bees,
you get the hive. Prior to Season 3, which will start next week, by the way, we wanted to include a sneak peek at our Patreon-only podcast. Allow us to introduce Not So Nefarious Criminals. Now, that was named by Amanda's niece, but anyway, this Patreon-only podcast is meant to discuss crimes of a weird nature. It's kind of Florida Man-esque. It's meant to bring some light and somewhat of a palate cleanser to the darker side of things. We ceased our endless banter and the humor in the middle of Season 1, and some of you miss it, some of you are happy it's gone, but for those who truly love us and love that, you can find that on our Patreon. Our Patreon is experiencing a bit of a rebrand itself as well, so thank you all for your patience, but right now our starting tier is at $5, and that's all you'll need to access bonus content as a whole, and the money does go directly back into our podcast.
We will have guests on most of the episodes. It's more of a roundtable discussion and reaction to stupid and bizarre crimes where nobody really gets hurt. It's such a testament to mental health because when you're a true crime podcaster like we are, you feel burnout and depression. at an alarming rate. We want to continue to advocate and be there fully loaded with the facts. But this side project allows us to just unwind and laugh. Courtney told me after our first episode that it was the serotonin boost that she so desperately needed. And I see that because with what we do, things get dark fast. We want to have an outlet to reset, and we know all you do too. So take a moment, join our Patreon, and get to know both shows. Without further ado, introducing Not So Nefarious Criminals, a Patreon-only podcast. Enjoy!
So we have given these people, all two people that are listening, we've given them 14 minutes and 32 seconds of banter.
Oh, yeah.
So
let's get to why we're here.
Yeah, so why are we here?
Why are we here? We're here to discuss some really dumb crimes. And I cannot wait. You're starting, right? You have one.
Yeah. So, all right. So in the true fashion of Florida Man, I have a Florida Man story to start. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This was published July 3rd of this year. So this is about a week ago. No, 2 weeks ago. Speaking of, this year, we are 2 days away from being 1 year old in the podcast world.
Oh yeah! Happy birthday, Nefarious!
Happy birthday, Nefarious!
Happy birthday to you. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so this was published July 3rd of 2022 at 9:42 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Okay, and this is according to Fox News.
Oh God!
Florida man with hustle, eat, sleep, repeat tattoo charged with throwing hot dog at police officer. A Tampa Bay area man was arrested Saturday for allegedly throwing a hot dog at an officer who warned him that he was violating a city ordinance, according to a local report. Jason, it's always a fucking Jason. Jason Stoll, 47, is charged with felony battery on a law enforcement officer.
Felony battery with a hot dog. Oh, come on.
And resisting an officer without violence. I like how they added, and resisting an officer without violence.
That's contradicting themselves right there.
Uh-huh. Around 12 a.m. Saturday at St. Petersburg police office I read that wrong. Around 12 a.m. Saturday, a St. Petersburg police officer told Stoll he could no longer sell hot dogs in the roadway after his street closure permit ended, according to court documents obtained by... They had to obtain court documents, bro. Obtained by WFLA. An officer asked Stoll to close up shop, but he continued to try selling a hot dog, the court documents said. Stoll became frustrated and threw a hot dog at the officer, who was in full uniform at the time.
What? Well, I'm sorry. If he was not in full uniform, then I wouldn't have listened to him either.
That would have been a hot dog fight. Who was in full uniform at the time of the incident, according to the station. Okay, Stoll, who lives in Newport Richey, was booked into the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. Online court records show he is out after posting a whopping $2,500 bail.
That's still a lot for throwing a hot dog at somebody.
The court records note that he has many tattoos, like this is fucking relevant, including the phrases hustle, eat, sleep, and repeat. And what doesn't kill me makes me stronger, among many others. He faces a minimum of 3 years in jail if convicted.
What? Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Was there something in the hot dog? Was there like a switchblade in the hot dog? Like,
I don't know, but like that shit, that went left
like,
real
did it
fast.
Hurt?
It's like this man was like selling a hot dog, and all of a sudden the police came by and were like, "Get your hands up!" It's just like, I'm just selling a hot dog, bro. And then like he got a little agitated. He's like, "Bitch!" And he threw a hot dog and probably called him a pig. And I mean, I'll make a hot dog out of you, you pig!
Oh my god! I can't believe he can get 3 years minimum. Oh
hey,
no!
You know what they say about karma? It comes in threes.
Oh no!
That's okay.
I feel like I need more information. I feel like, does he have like a record? Like, is he like a violent person? Like,
I'll tell you what, as soon as I have an update, I will be sure to tell you.
Okay, perfect. Like, I really feel like I need to know that because now I want to do one of mine. Hold on.
Well, I've got a Google alert on that, fortunately, because we know that that's super important.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm gonna have to double check and make sure that I actually have a Google alert on that.
Okay.
Right, so
okay.
What do you got?
Mine's a little bit older. Mine's from January 18th of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So this is titled "Florida Man Arrested for DUI After Mistaking the Bank Drive-Thru for Taco Bell."
What? Okay.
So
to be fair.
to be fair. What?
To be fair.
How are you getting him out of this?
If you're drunk, anything is going to be a Taco Bell drive-thru. But in what area of that bank, right? Says eat great even late. Come on now.
Like I want to know. Like I can't remember if it says in here like what time of day it was. I'm like, what time of day was it? Was it like midnight? Because I feel like I would forgive him a little bit more if it was midnight than it was like 3 p.m.
I don't know.
I mean, nobody should ever drive drunk. I'm very, very, very against that.
Oh yeah, same.
But I mean, I feel like I need. Okay, let's go ahead and read it.
Yeah,
read it. So, Spring Hill, Florida. A Tampa man was arrested on Wednesday afternoon for DUI after he reportedly mistook a bank drive-thru for Taco Bell. According to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, the manager of Bank of America called to report an impaired driver after he found an unconscious man behind the wheel of a blue sedan in the bank's drive-thru lane. So apparently this was during business hours. It's not funny.
Oh my god.
Okay.
An unconscious man. And
how do you know he needs Taco Bell?
Wow.
So the manager told deputies that after beating on the car window for some time, he was able to wake up the driver.
Oh, good.
Oh no.
Did he get his food?
Upon waking up, the driver asked the bank manager for her burrito.
Oh.
Before driving away after being informed that he was not at Taco Bell. Alright, well, he likes burritos.
I wonder if a burrito is like slang or like a code word for wallet of money.
Like, no, I'm pretty
rolls?
sure he just wanted a freaking burrito from Taco Bell.
Rolls? No, rolls of money. Maybe he was maybe he was actually trying to pull off this really like intricate, elaborate like bank robbery. And then he either A was like, give me a burrito, and he's like winking a lot, or he's like, give me all your fucking money. And then he thought about it, he's like, I'm just kidding, I just want a burrito, man. And the bank's like, what? So, or maybe it was a Taco Bell and they were embarrassed and posed as a Bank of America. I don't know why, but when he said the Bank of America manager, that was funny to me. Like, I didn't expect it to be Bank of America, but I also kind of did.
It gets a little funnier too.
Okay, go for it.
So, like I told you, he drove away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they found him in the parking lot. The driver, Douglas Francisco, 28 years old, was still in the driver's seat with the car running. The manager of the bank confirmed that Francisco was the same driver who he had called about.
Okay.
After, according to the arrest report, Francisco made several unusual statements. Deputies also noted that he had delayed reactions to their questions as well as slow movements consistent with someone under the influence of prescription narcotics.
Oh.
So he wasn't even drunk.
Okay.
So after Francisco failed a series of field sobriety exercises, he was placed under arrest. The arrest report states that he had oxycodone and Xanax on him, both of which he was prescribed. He was transported.
munchies.
Yeah.
Maybe he just needed money for Taco Bell.
Maybe he got confused. He was going there to the ATM and got confused. It makes sense.
He's like, man, I just want a Mexican pizza and burritos.
He got a $1,000 bond.
Oh God, what?
That's it.
That's it?
That's it. That's all we have.
I'm gonna be looking this guy up on Facebook.
He has to be out by now. I mean, that was in 2018.
I want to know, did this guy ever end up getting married, and did he end up having kids? Did he ever start his own business? And maybe maybe he works under the Forbes 500 or something like that, or
I doubt that.
You gotta have hope.
No.
Maybe
Florida man.
Maybe he runs a Taco Bell.
Maybe.
I doubt it, but it's a thought.
Maybe he used to work at Bank of America, and then he worked at Taco Bell, and he just got confused.
Maybe he works at Bank of America. And in order to get new clients for Bank of America, he gives out free burritos. Dude, that is stellar marketing.
I think that's what it was.
Had to be.
I do.
Okay, are you ready?
I am so ready.
This one's kind of short, but
short and sweet.
Fortunately, we have some comments we can look at. This one came from Facebook.
Oh, okay.
This was from the Tazewell County Commitment Report. By the way, Tazewell, I think, is in Illinois, so this is not Florida man, but it might as well be. We want to thank everybody for listening to this podcast, for listening, especially the past first and second season, and putting up with us being new. But really, I don't think I've thanked anybody enough, and I just can't. I can't even express how much we appreciate each and every one of our listeners and our potential listeners. With that, much love. Take care. We can't wait to see you guys in season 3 and our new tagline moving forward. Be vigilant, because when you mess with the bees, you get the hive.